happy Taurus season, fire signs. I hope that you're having a great start to the earth season after your Aries season. Definitely feel like this is a time for you to start putting those fiery passions into the material world this season. And I always use this term for the fire signs, but blaze trails is so applicable for this fire sign. So yeah, I think that this season just really stays super balanced for you and allows for some awesome opportunities and abundance in whatever you're currently invested in. So I'm going to draw a card for each one of the signs. I'm going to start with Aries, and if you have a moment to look into the earth sign videos, you'll get a little bit of a preview, or just like a summary of the aspects that I'm going to go into for each one of these readings. So Aries, the first aspect that you're going to experience is the Venus conjunctions, and Venus will be conjunct Neptune and Jupiter. This will occur in your 12th house of unconscious, subconscious, spirituality, dreams. We'll take this one too. And this energy is super romantic and peaceful, and really brings in an abundance of blissful transcendence, especially since the 12th house is native Pisces. So this is where these energies are very magnified and very auspicious. This is such a favorable conjunction to have in the 12th house, and I just see it just adding to your spiritual life and whatever you're passionate about. It could bring up like the want to explore, and maybe even having that be like a solitude endeavor, going on an adventure by yourself, or even via meditation. Just, yeah, a lot of happy, peaceful energies there in your 12th house of self-reflection too. The sun will be conjunct Uranus in your 2nd house of belongings and what you have and own, and the personal resources that you have obtained. So this is a aspect that really asks for your self-expression to be in a unique and original way. Maybe you're discovering that your uniqueness and how you're different adds to your self-worth and is really what you truly value. That's also a theme of the 2nd house. I don't really necessarily see it as material world stuff, but you could be expressing your in your authenticity through your possessions, or like what you own. You just naturally gravitate to having those kinds of unique purchases, and that helps you really define your independent nature. You could also be focused on having freedom of money, and really having like your personal resources provide avenues of sovereignty, and just like space for you to be yourself, and really just enjoy the amazingness of life. That's very much a Taurus theme. There's also potential for stubbornness, so there could be a little bit of this is mine energy, and unwillingness to share. The sun will be square Saturn, and the sun will be in your second house, and Saturn will be in your 11th house of aspirations and friendship, or group friends, and friend groups, or group friends in society. So this aspect usually brings up a time for meeting obstacles. There could be some kind of restriction within your friend group that you're experiencing, or money and friends, or even self-worth and what you hold value to could be at odds with the group of friends that occupy the 11th house. This aspect also is your future goals and wishes and aspirations, so maybe the conflict could be with like the lack thereof resources to create this future that you're aspiring to have. Fortunately, Neptune will be sextile the sun. Neptune's in your 12th house, so Pisces, and this is allowing for creativity to really soothe the obstacle that the square is bringing. So creativity of self mainly is the key here, and within the 12th house, maybe this can allow for more spiritual, transcendental energies to flow through, and having that, I know it does, I'm trying to link it back to creativity of self, but Neptune also just brings in this creative flow that sometimes when it's not put into action, it really just still is there to flow and just provide support and peacefulness. So I'm getting that sense with the 12th house placement there, because of the meditation aspect of where sometimes this going to meditate can really allow for an obstacle to be cleared, and or just time for the obstacle to decline. So yeah, very sensitive energies for meditation, and just that's there to support you through the the square between the Sun and Saturn. Mars will be conjunct Neptune in your 12th house as well. And what a cool conjunction to have in the 12th house. So Mars is just like a purity force in the 12th house and in Pisces in general. Mars can also, dive to the depths of Pisces and surface instantly with this force and this action to really bring those subconscious dreams into reality. This is a conjunction that allows for a direction and a more or less like an action plan for your dreams and your goals. This could also indicate a lot of sexual energy in terms of spiritual sexual energy. I get the sense of like kundalini flow, and especially if you are actively meditating. Sorry, I'm trying to relate it back to like maybe partnerships, but the 12th house is very much a like focus on your solitude self versus other houses that indicate and we have the Hermit, so that it could indicate partnerships for that sexual energy. But I mean, definitely can still harness that energy and have it flow for bliss via meditation. So with the Sun, we'll be trine Pluto. We have the Sun in your 2nd house of belongings, and Pluto's in your 10th house of achievements and career, public image. This is a very harmonious flow for money to, it seems to be like reaping the benefits of your career, of what you've, built a reputation off of, from how you've interacted with the world. This is achieving and having achievement, and then as like, that trophy for success, but also being supported financially and having comfort in what you possess and what you own, having a physical having tangibles that provide for you. And another thing I want to point out is the 2nd house is also your innate skills and your aptitude, and it seems like there's a very apt flow for this to funnel straight into what you're doing for your career and your destiny, like what your purpose is. And all of this aspect itself is just like a aspect that like it reeks self-empowerment, and this is a beautiful house placement to see how what you're doing in the world not only like is very much seen and appreciated, but also and gives you stature, but also empowers you to be who you are, and also create a lifestyle for yourself that that allows you to continue to be who you are and move up in your career. I'm getting the idea of maybe like a promotion. That seems to be something that could happen for Aries. So the solar eclipse will be in your second house of ownership and belongings. So there's obviously some new beginnings with personal resources, maybe even a new source of income could occur or be brought into your awareness on the new moon, the new moon, the solar eclipse. And this is just, an abundant solar eclipse, so that's really exciting. The lunar eclipse will be in your 8th house of endings and beginnings, circulation, and other people's money. So there's this house is very much like your desires, but not like a material sense. It's more of like a instinctual desire, and based off of Plutonian aspects. So there seems to be something that's going to end for sure with the lunar eclipse, or just be released. Definitely a day to tune into maybe some integrating of shadow aspects. And like notice, like maybe something surfaces and you're like, why do I have this desire? And you really just like find the root cause of it, and then you can release it. Pluto will be retrograde in your 10th house of achievements in career and public image. This is a purging retrograde, so definitely something released that probably like held power over you in your career structure, and maybe like an authority that just probably didn't resonate. It seems like in retrograde there's going to be like a purging of this, or like a realization and like dealing with the shadow aspects, and then a release when the retrograde's over. Mercury will be retrograde in your 2nd house of belongings and ownership, and this is just a time to pause and reflect. Maybe there is something that is a new source of income, and you really just need to allow it to surface on its own without acting. So you just take this time to really to see it but not act on it. So you have 2 cards. We have Justice and the Hermit. The Hermit was the most I flipped this one over even though it came out. This one was hello. So a time of solitude and self-reflection, knowing that your light shines brightly even if I get the sense of behind the scenes, because behind the scenes sometimes is very much a solitude endeavor. You're doing a ton of work on yourself, and it doesn't seem like that's very noticeable from the fact that you don't have anyone around you, but your light shines brightly and is guiding you as well. And this is very much a time for self-reflection, to gain more wisdom. I think it's interesting the age of the Hermit. obviously an elderly person who's seen a lot of life and has a lot of wisdom of life. And I think that's like really much what the Hermit reads as. It's embodying wisdom through self-reflection, meditation, or just a solitude journey. And then we have Justice. This is seeing things fairly and with an open heart. This is really, you know, seeing life with your heart and not judging status or money or apparent power. This is really just being fair and making decisions from a place of pure logic too. Like, this is law. This is being logical and having morality too. Being able to make sure that both sides of this scale are even. Being honest and truthful. With this combination, I get a very much like of a righteous vibe. Seeing life and acting in life righteously for equality. And a lot of gracefulness here too. Okay, so thank you, Aries. I hope you have a wonderful Taurus season after your birthday. So thank you so much for letting me read for you, and have an awesome Taurus season. Now I'm going to read for Leo. So hello, Leo. Happy Taurus season. I hope you are having an abundant, fun, and playful Leo or Taurus season. Really feel like this is a season that allows you to indulge in your playfulness and things that make you happy in the earth world. So we'll start off with talking about the Venus in Neptune conjunction, and then the Venus in Jupiter conjunction. So these conjunctions will occur in your 8th house of endings and beginnings in circulation. This is the Scorpio house of occult knowledge and shadow aspects and lessons on just power and psychology and how these can play into your desires and That's on all fronts too. Or even just, secrets and occult knowledge from previous times. This conjunction is very much, or both of the conjunctions are very peaceful and full of joy. So I find it interesting. It's falling into your 8th house, which I'm trying to discern at the moment. I mean, there's a lot of romance with the Venus and Neptune conjunction, and but in the 8th house does deal with sex and birth and the full life cycle. So it does seem like there could be a potential for sex and divine feminine realizations. This is also probably something that will bring, I'm with the Jupiter conjunction too, I see like the urge to explore more occult knowledge, and the Jupiter Venus conjunction could be like, having a luxurious traveling experience. But I see this being more of like a luxurious travel through a book of gaining knowledge and really loving what you're learning in whatever. I get like ancient scriptures that seems to be coming up. Nonetheless, a very like positive and serendipitous. Like, it just seems to be like somewhat of just like a very mysterious veil here with this with these conjunctions in your 8th house. Sorry I'm pausing, but I'm just like, I'm honestly mesmerized by this conjunction in the 8th house. You could be receiving gifts from other people. And it seems like a monetary gift. I'm just gonna go to the Sun conjunct Uranus. There's more to dive in there for sure, and we have the Queen of Swords, and I'll go into the card at the end. But yeah, that's a really interesting conjunction to have in your 8th house. 2 conjunctions, and then we'll have the Mars and Neptune, so that, oh my gosh. Okay, let's talk about Sun conjunct Uranus, 10th house of career and public image. So this seems to be aligning with your uniqueness in what you've chosen as a career, what you've chosen as your public image. This is like you're on a different path, and it's very publicly known that that's the case, and you've chosen this avenue as your purpose and what you feel like brings the most independence and freedom into your life. Or you could, since Uranus does bring sudden changes, you could be shifting into something career-wise that aligns more with your uniqueness and what makes you different and what you feel most authentic in. I'm going to take a sip of my tea. Sorry about that. Yeah, so I feel like this is a very powerful conjunction to have for your career, and it's all just opening up a space for you to be yourself and have that be supported in a framework of career and reputation. The sun will be square Saturn, so that square will be your 10th and your 7th house of partnerships. So we just went over the 10th house, which is your achievements and your career. 7th house is your partnerships, your commitments, and your relationships. You could see some tension between your career and maybe current commitments that you've made. Commitments aren't always necessarily marriages or romantic commitments. These could be just people in your life that you have contracts with. Just having like awareness of how you are with other people and of how others are towards you. So definitely some kind of obstacle that could be in the way, or you could be facing some kind of authority in your career. It's interesting because we just had all these we had the sun and Uranus, but here there's like some kind of limitation that's occurring, whether it's on the partnership side or the career side. Like I said, there could be an urge to jump into a career that's more aligned with you. Maybe this square is also just like shaking it up to the point where it's like, yeah, that's it. There's some kind of obstacle, whether it's in the career space or commitment, partnership based. And it seems to be based on this aspect is a lot about control and having things orderly versus the Uranus spontaneity and sporadicness. We have the sextile between Neptune and the sun that will be supporting this square. So we have, a very kind flow of Neptunian energy to support this square and to help navigate the square. The Neptune sextile will be between your 10th and your 8th house, so Neptune will be in your house of endings and beginnings, shadow aspects, other people's money. Maybe there's some kind of I'm getting a sense of like some kind of dreamy support, like as if you're like, I can't believe this is happening, like this is like a dream come true kind of support, to help allow this square to like resonate at like a softer level. And I don't know if that's, you know, money, like some kind of money that comes through, or I'm getting the sense of a lover, just because of the sexuality of 8th house, or this new knowledge that's could be brought into your realm through studying. Mars will be conjunct Neptune in your 8th house, of endings, beginnings, occult, sexuality, other people's money, and shadow aspects. This conjunction is all about, for this placement, is all about, yeah, it's all about sex. So there definitely seems to be a lot of that for Leo this Taurus season, which is righteously so, given, you know, the earth element and being human. So also with, you know, what we just discussed, the support that's coming in, this aspect also is like a force, you know, a catalyst for bringing your dreams and your goals into reality. So there could be some kind of, you know, dream come true energy that circulates and allows for what you're working on to be really pushed into the world. The sun will be trine Pluto. This will be between your 10th and your 6th house. So we have your 10th house of achievements and career, public image, and then your 6th house, which is your daily service and your work, health, your routine. So there's a lot of energy, good energy there for aligning your daily life to your career and finding your purpose between those two houses. Yeah, I just see your career and your daily life lining up so that it's empowering and supportive in your growth and what you're here to, what you're destined to be for the world and for yourself, since 6th house is, you know, it's service out in the world, but also service to yourself, very much with Taurus energy too. You have to take care of yourself. The solar eclipse will be in your 10th house of achievements. This is blossoming opportunities in your career space. There's a lot of activity in your career space right now, and it seems to be really positive. New beginnings. The lunar eclipse will be in your 4th house. This is your home life, your family, ancestors, your roots, but really things that you hold close to you and keep private in what you nurture. Lunar eclipse brings a release, excuse me, and an ending. So there might be something that needs to be let go of within that space, to open up for new layers of nourishment and nurturing. Mercury will be retrograde. Oh wait, sorry. Pluto will be retrograde in your 6th house of routine and work. There's a purge with this retrograde, so purging layers of self that no longer align with you. So purging layers of self that no longer align with your daily life and what you have in your routine and your work. Seems to be very much health oriented. It could just be like eliminating some kind of like food from your diet. It's what I see with Pluto being in the 6th house. And purging could, be an actual thing too that is really illuminated with health as well. Mercury will be retrograde in your 10th house. This is just a time to pause and reflect. This is your house of achievements in your career, public image. So definitely time to just maybe disallow for things to surface versus, going out and trying to have this career or really just evaluate and like reflect on your current career. Like I said, with the Uranus and Sun conjunction, it seems like there could be some kind of shift in careers, but that's just like being presumptuous. But with the Mercury retrograde, this could also indicate maybe a shift, or there's always that novel time, but in the first part of a career where you're still learning things, so like you're very much to yourself about your achievements, and that could also just be something with the Mercury retrograde. But anyway, we have the Queen of Swords. This is having truth and clarity rule over all. This is having very much keen discernment and insight into like minute details and things, minute details, but also the bigger picture. With this card, there's a lot of wit that seems to be here, and allowing knowledge and logic to really transform yourself. Could receive some like very distinct and sharp messages, just because your mind is so attuned and keenly aware of messages. You're able to rise above any cloudiness that's really distorting any vision or mental realm in general. So thank you, Leo. I hope you have a wonderful Taurus season, and just thanks for letting me read for you, and just have a great Taurus season. Thank you so much. Hello, Sagittarius. I hope you're having an awesome Taurus season. Definitely feel like Taurus and Sagittarius energies just want to have no plans, just live for fun. So very much a fun time for all signs, but definitely Sagittarius. So the first aspect that's going to occur is your Venus and Neptune conjunction, along with Venus and Jupiter conjunction. These conjunctions are very peaceful and joyous, and this is occurring in your 4th house of home and family life and nurturing and nourishment. This is also that's really interesting. This is very much a 4th house card. Totally. These aspects bring in like a lot of beauty and abundance. So the 4th house can indicate just like a, very peaceful and secure lifestyle. This is feeling nurtured and like having that energy supported by divine feminine and mystical divine feminine, maybe connected to your ancestors. The 4th house also is your roots and your ancestry. Could be finding a lot of peace in where you're from and the people before you. With the Venus and Jupiter conjunction, this is very much could indicate an urge to travel. So I see like maybe like a traveling home or traveling with family could be something, and just having like a very joyous, luxurious traveling experience too. That's very much what the conjunction indicates, and seems to also bring in a lot of romance within your home and your family life. The sun will be conjunct Uranus in your 6th house, which is your daily life, your routine, your health, and your service in the world. This aspect is one that urges you to be different and be your unique self. It seems like it's aligning with your work and what you do in your daily life. Living as your unique self is part of your routine. It's your job. This is how you serve the world, is through being different and independent. And that creates a lot of freedom for the world at large, but also yourself. Having freedom to have this kind of routine, and doing so in a way that creates, it just seems to be like, your daily life is out of the norm of like what's work, but you're doing this in like a self-righteousness for, based off of truths that you've gathered, and you're kind of reforming what daily life should be, which is really, really pretty. That's really all I can think of for that aspect in your 6th house. So the next aspect is your 6th and your 3rd house, where we have the Sun and Saturn square, and this square brings in limitations and obstacles between these two houses. we have the 6th house, which is your daily life, and then your 3rd house, which is your self-expression, verbal self-expression, the way you think, your mental acuity, the knowledge and the learning that you have thus far. There seems to be maybe some kind of limitation, maybe maybe there could just be some kind of obstacle that is making the connection between like what you're competent in not flow, like you've learned all this stuff and you are competent, but there's still some kind of like blockage in the flow to make this like into your daily routine. It could be indicating changes, like, you know, being disciplined to allow the two to have, you know, to flow harmoniously. And also, I'm getting like the sense of like limitation is from like self-control, how, you know, you're the one who allots your time to things. So, definitely some I just see like a flow block there. We'll just go on to the Neptune sextile, which is in your 4th house of home and family, your inner security, and what nurtures you, and also like your private feelings. So Neptune is bringing in a lot of supportive energy with the sextile with the sun on the same day that the square is occurring. And this is, you know, Neptune is a very creative sign, so this allows for more creativity to flow through. Seems like creativity could be coming from your roots, and that could, you know, help curb the square a little bit and make it more of like a less of like a tension point and more of a smooth edge. Very much able to use maybe some subconscious or unconscious past energies, like from your past, like related to like your family, your lineage, and allow that to help soothe between what this blockage and flow could be, between like your innate, your knowledge and like what you're competent in into your daily life. Very much probably sensitive in what you're, you know, having private feelings about. It's what I'm getting, because of the 3rd house is also like self-expression verbally and communicating, like not only like just in general, like Taurus. I think I had this conversation, I forgot which zodiac but sign, but there was also like a very much indicative of throat chakra energies that are surfacing, and sometimes with the 3rd house energies that's very much evident of throat chakra, because that's the Gemini house. So Taurus rules the throat, neck, and the vocal cords, so just something to be mindful of. in terms of communicating with this square that's occurring, and the fact that maybe your support could be your family, and but also know that inner feelings is the 4th house as well. Mars will be conjunct Neptune in your 4th house. This energy is a catalyst for bringing your dreams and your goals into reality. Mars is just like the purest force in Pisces, and within a native water house, this aspect can really show purity and purity in action, and purity in goals and ideals. I think with the conjunction in your 4th house, there's a lot of support, and probably like there's some kind of force within your lineage that really is like a grounding force, and also like a really good foundation for your dreams here. Mars in Neptune conjunction can also bring up a lot of sexual energy, and within a home life, maybe that's just something that nourishes you and helps like nurture you. The sun will be trine Pluto with your 6th and your 2nd house. So your 6th house is your daily life and your work, and your 2nd house is what you own, things that you have, your belongings. So there's a very positive and self-empowering flow to this aspect. It seems like your resources that you have really are benefiting your work and your daily life, and also your health. Like, it's just the two are allowing for you to be of service, and your service is one. It's like it's feeding itself. Your service is allowing for you to have money and personal resources, and then that is also just feeding back into your health that allows you to serve and constantly improve. So yeah, there's just an empowerment aspect here that seems to be around your daily life and lifestyle in general, with even just like the Taurus energies, and I think that really aligns with your self-worth and your values, and knowing, like, feeling empowered just allows for, or it comes from a place of having quality self-worth and knowing your worth, knowing like what you hold value to, and staying true to that, to where it's just a very comfortable and directive energy into feeling confident. There's a lot of skills here too. Like, 2nd house is your innate skills and your aptitude, and then we just had that square that's with your knowledge, but 6th house is also like what you're competent in, like competency skills, and like obviously that fuels your service. So there's a lot of with the flow for the trine, there's, you know, your innate skills are very much what you're competent in and flowing harmoniously there. So the square is something that seems to just really, it's interesting. Sorry I can't interpret the whole thing, but we have 4 other aspects. So the solar eclipse will be in your 6th house, and they all play together too. Like, I feel like every single reading I've had, they've all just, like, you know, I try not to mix them too much because I want to talk to each point, but they all have something significant to the entire season. And I feel like maybe it's up to the viewer to piece these little pieces together, the puzzle pieces. So the solar eclipse will be in your 6th house of daily life, your job, and your service. So there's new opportunities here with the solar eclipse, and abundant opportunities for just having various I'm getting a sense of peace with that, like with your service. Like, it's just like various avenues of peace. The lunar eclipse will be in your 12th house, which is the realm of the subconscious, and these are your limitations, things that have been repressed. This is your solitude and just hidden forces in general. So the lunar eclipse brings up something that needs to be released, and this is also your karma house. So there seems to be some kind of karmic cycle that's probably coming to an end, and just needs to have like an awareness aspect to allow it to be let go and released, so that you can integrate or transcend that previous cycle. The Pluto retrograde will be in your 2nd house of possessions, ownerships, and things that you have. This retrograde brings in things that need to be purged. Maybe something isn't aligning with your self-worth and your values, and it might need to be purged. Or maybe how you're handling money. These are just all various things that could occur. Or maybe, you know, possessions, like usually the Pluto retrograde brings up things that need to be purged because they had some kind of power or control over your demeanor, or just like felt like a limiting, like it just felt like it had a coercion over you. So something in that, I get the sense that it's more aligned to self-worth and values. Mercury retrograde will be in your 6th house of daily life, job, and service, and this is just a time to reflect and really just be mindful of everything that that goes into your routine. I think that's interesting, how there's just a lot of 6th house activations and 4th house here. Yeah, just maybe like reviewing how you serve, and see where you can improve on with Mercury retrograde. So we have the 10 of Cups, which is the most fulfilling, and this is like, I get the sense of like optimal timeline, and just like pure beauty and joy here. There's support and comfort, and things that fill your cup and fill all your cups. This is having a fulfilling life and of peace and harmony. This is like a rainbow. This is definitely just pure beauty. Having everything to comfort and nourish your soul and your emotions and being emotionally fulfilled. So thank you, Sagittarius. I hope you have a lovely Taurus season and awesome Earth season. So thank you so much for letting me read to you, and I hope you have an awesome Taurus season. Thanks.